Hi everybody, lovely people actually is what you all are. Today I want to talk about providing hides, I guess specifically, and why it can be kind of essential for snakes, and not necessarily all snakes, but certainly some snakes. And I opened Ishwii's door because I knew that she wanted to come out, and I'll put in some shots of Sunny, who was being very naughty and deciding she was going to come down and get close, which is fine in general, but Ishwii is a little bit iffy compared to my other snake. Every time I decide that I'm going to do something, Sunny decides to be naughty and go to places where Sunny is not allowed to go because there's cords and all sorts behind there. And I've already had Sunny destroy my camera, my webcam, and I ended up having to buy a new one. Step up. You're not allowed there. You are just not allowed to go there. She can go there. No, she says, you are kidding me. I'm not. And even to me, she can become quite defensive at times. So I'm certainly not going to allow Bird to be wandering around on the floor near her when she's coming out. I'll have to let Ishwii know. Come on, Ishwii. The door's open. Come on. Over this way. Over this way. Come on. Come on, darling. Come on. And it's not a eat, it's a ham, but I'm trying to show you that this door is open. So come on. Look at that tongue going. That's all totally food. Now she'll realise that the actual door is open and that she can make her way out. And I may have to move really fast to get her from going underneath things, and now she spotted my foot, so she's thinking, well, that's wiggling and jiggling, so maybe I can get that to eat, but you can't, and you're not. So I am talking about hides, and specifically right now for in your enclosure for your snakes, and especially your young ones. As your snake gets older, as Ishwii decides to go into her hide and not actually come out, but she may turn around and come back out. I think I've got her perplexed, as in she opened the door and I thought it was food, but it's not food. And yeah, do I go out or don't I go out right now? But I'll give her a minute to think about it. So some snakes really do rely on having hides in their enclosure, and it can be essential for their well-being emotionally. Really it is, and don't skimp on having a hide available for them in their enclosure. And specifically when they're young, one up at the warmer end and one up at the cooler end. Now, I know that Ishwii uses hers. Absolutely. More so the one that she's in right now, though I have seen her in the other one, but sorry, so I'm knocking this around, but more so in this little flat, round, cardboard hide. She loves it, and that actually came with her when she arrived, so she's very familiar with it. But for a sense of safety and all the rest of it, Some snakes just need it, especially too when they're in shed. So not just when they're young ones, but when they're in shed. A lot of them like to go into their hide and stay there while they're going through that process. And like I said, when they get older, things do change, and they're not so dependent on having a hide. But then some continue their whole life to wanting a hide to go into. And I think it is something that you should absolutely provide for them. Now, I certainly do not want Ishwii going up and under there at all. So I'm watching her and so forth. Like I said, Ish does not like me necessarily interfering with her investigations and things. So I'll come down a little bit closer so she realizes I'm here and that there's a likelihood that I'm going to actually physically touch her at this bit, and you can see that she's well aware I'm here and where will she go. And I'm actually going to put Ishwii up. She's not going to be going on the down. So hopefully she'll make her way out more, and then I can get her going up the ladder, which Ishwii has done quite well. And has enjoyed the higher area. If we can see her at this point, she is slowly bringing herself out, and I don't have the camera in my actual hand, so I can't move it too much to keep her in frame, though I would like to. Maybe she's just going to go back in, but that's okay too, because in a way that makes it a little bit easier on me. But still, I'm happy for her to come out and go adventuring if she chooses to. But point is, Amaya, for example, who is right there, she does have a big hide there that I know that she can fit in, but she chooses not to. This seems to be one of her favourite positions, sitting up here. Now she has a hide down here, which yes, I've seen her in, but really I have it there for the pod so that she can go into the pod and then she can lay some of her body actually out, because she's quite big and she can fit in there. She can completely fit in there, but this gives her some support out of her actual hide. Now I'm doing this with my enclosures. Apani has a hide over at the cool side. Lily has a hide down there and a hide there. Never, ever, ever uses them. If I take them out, she doesn't like it either. She is very, very used to having those hides there. And that one up under that hammock is more about her feeling secure when she's laying in that hammock. Although she's sleeping behind the logs at the moment, and that seems to be a newfound favourite place of all. She's also discovered the pod up here and has been sleeping in that when she comes out. So, you know, but we are talking, you know, these pods are brilliant as a hide for your snake. It doesn't have to be an actual hide itself. But let's get into where really my thoughts were going while Ishwii's still kind of going at this particular point. Tubs. Just because your snakes are in a tub doesn't mean the tub is a hide. And I hear that all of the time. But the tub is really one big hide. Understanding that putting a little tub in there or a little hide in there for them is a hide. Completely different to that great big tub. And they're actually able to get in and go and hide in it, or they can come out and they can actually lay on top of it. So, you know, I see people open the tub, and here is their ball python, and we'll talk about ball python. Could be, but you know, I've been watching a lot of videos with ball pythons, and basically these little young ones have covered themselves with all of their substrate, and that's a absolute bell ringing in my head. I need a hide. I would really like to have a hide so I can go and hide in it and lay in that. And yes, they can burrow into their substrate and cover themselves over, but they would feel so much better if they had this hide. So hides are important for young snakes and even for older snakes, because some older snakes really do still like to have a hide. The ones that use them here is Ishwii, Apani, Car, who's a Stimson sometimes. Now, so far I'm talking the Antares out. Maya uses hers, but my carpets, very rarely. My rough scale, yep, sometimes, but more often than not, he's up, out, laying on his hammock sleeping. And Oscar, my coastal carpet, who's a young one, rarely, but I do see him in a hide. But there will come a day where he won't want it. And but don't take it upon yourself to say they don't need one. And if you see the signs that they do need one, give them one. You know, I'm not even talking about giving them hammocks and greenery and things to climb at this point. I'm just talking about giving them a hide. These will be going into some of my snakes enclosures. I do want to get more, but you know, bit by bit I will gather more along the way. So these were, just so you get an idea, about $8 each. Excuse me. $8 each, which of course is really not cheap. I don't consider it to be cheap, and it wasn't even under Reptile name, because if I went Reptile brand for something like this here, we would pay $28, $29 for it. So when you think about it in the scheme of things, yeah, $8 each is no big deal. You know, I got 3 really for the price of 1, and they are going to, you know, I really in my bigger enclosures I need to use 3 to really, you know, get that green look going. So I'm not sure whose enclosure that's going to go into, but like I said, I've got a mare to put into a bigger enclosure and a pony, and I do want to get Archie into a bigger one as well. So a lot of thinking is going on. Oh, sorry dude, sorry. Oh, so sorry. Sorry I frightened you. That's okay, dude. Yes. You're okay so long as Sunny doesn't come down to give you a bite on the beak again. You'll be perfectly fine. And he's healed up really, really well. Thank goodness. So, this one is basically, you know, and you can bend them and so forth and have them hanging down in your snake enclosures. And it came in a bundle of the 3, as you can see, 2, 3, and as you can see I can count sometimes as well. And I think all up for these 3, which look, when you look at them, they look incredible all together, and will put so much more green into, you know, the little ones. You know, having that hanging and down to the ground, they'll go behind it and even have a nap behind it as a form of cover, hide for them. They may not, but you know, you can have them along the ground and they'll climb through it. And I know that these plastic hides you can pick up, they're cheap as and easy to wash, easy to clean and put back in. So just something I've been thinking about. Well, Ishwii hasn't come out, but you've been able to see her at least wandering around and listening to me ramble on about hides, I guess. But to me it's important, one of the important subjects and an important thing for your snakes to actually have in their lives. So I'll tune out, and Ishwii's going to attempt for the second time, I guess. Sure, take care of yourself and your family, your friends, your snakes, but all your animals. Ciao.